Hello students, I am your teacher for today's lecture. In this lecture we are going to continue with our chapter quadratic equations. In the last few lectures we have done various concepts of quadratic equations like standard quadratic equation, then results on roots like sum of roots, product of roots, right, difference of roots. Then we saw how to form a quadratic equation, then symmetric difference of roots, right. Also we had seen how to transform the roots of a quadratic equation, like you are given a quadratic equation, then how to form a new quadratic equation if the original roots are transformed. Then we also did one very important part, direct results on real roots of quadratic equation, by using which we were solving the equations directly. Is it all right? Then we had also done the concept of common roots. Now in this lecture we are going to do again a very important part, and it will be interesting also because we will be able to relate it to a graph. You know, in mathematics whenever you can relate it to any pictorial representation or you can see it graphically, then it becomes easier to understand the concept and it becomes interesting also. Alright, so first thing that we are going to today would be maximum and minimum value of a quadratic expression. So let's start. So first thing is maximum and minimum value of a quadratic expression. Alright, so maximum and minimum value of quadratic expression. Is it okay? Now which quadratic expression? The standard one which we take, that is ax square plus bx plus c. So this will be the first thing that we are going to do today, maximum and minimum value of this quadratic expression. Now how do we do it? You know that you have done maxima minima in calculus. So whenever you are given any function to find its maximum and minimum value, what do? We differentiate it first, we put the first derivative equal to 0, alright, then we find the second derivative. If at that point where first derivative was 0, second derivative is positive, then it is point of local minima, and if second derivative is negative, then it is point of local maxima. So here also we will consider ax square plus bx plus c as a function, it is a quadratic function, and we will find its maximum and minimum value. So let us denote it by y. So let y be equal to ax square plus bx plus c. So this is the function. Let us differentiate it once. So I have dy by dx equal to, what do I get as the derivative? 2ax plus b. Now let us put this dy by dx equal to 0. If we put it equal to 0, what are we getting? X is equal to minus b upon 2a. So this is the point that we are getting. What is it? That x is equal to minus b upon 2a. Now we have to check whether it is point of maxima or minima. Now for that let us find the second derivative. So you can see second derivative d2y by dx square. What will be the derivative from here? It will be equal to 2a. Now we have to see whether it is positive or negative. You know that second derivative will be positive if a is positive and it will be negative if a is negative. Also one more thing, you know that when we say this is the quadratic function, we know that a is not going to be 0. Otherwise it will become linear. So that means there are only two possibilities, either a will be positive or a will be negative. So let me take case 1 over here. Is it alright? So I take case 1 beta. So let me write case 1. Case 1 would be that I am taking a to be positive. Now look here, if a is positive, this implies 2a will also be positive. And what is 2a as you can see above? Look here, it is the second derivative. So this implies d2y by dx square is positive. Since it is constant, that means it is positive for all x. In particular, it will be positive for this value also. X is equal to minus b upon 2a. So what do we conclude? This implies x is equal to minus b upon 2a is point of what? local minima. Is it all right? So this is point of local minima. Now look at the graphical part. You know that when we write this quadratic expression, y is equal to ax square plus bx plus c. Okay, if we are writing like this, then it represents a parabola. What does it represent? A parabola. If a is positive, parabola opens upwards. So we are taking this case when a is positive. So in this case, we will have a parabola opening upwards. So if the parabola is opening upwards, we have this as the vertex of parabola, and it will be point of minima because parabola is above that. There is no part of parabola below this. So this is the point which is vertex, which will be the point of minima. Now look here, for this x coordinate is minus b upon 2a because this is the point of minima. Now what will be the value of y when x is taking this? Let's see. In this case, if we find, I will have y to be equal to minimum. How do we obtain it? Look here. In this, we are going to put the value of x. Okay, in this quadratic expression, we will take this value of x minus b upon 2a. So if I put here, look here, a into minus b upon 2a, I have whole square, plus b into, we have minus b upon 2a and plus constant c. So at x equal to minus b by 2a, we are wanting to see the value of y. Okay, now let us see. What do we get? Here, if we solve it, I will get this to be equal to, on simplifying, you can take LCM and simplify. You will get minus of b square minus 4ac divided by 4a. And what was b square minus 4ac? Discriminant. So you can say minimum value will be minus d upon 4a. So here I can say if x coordinate of this vertex, look here, this was the parabola. Okay, I'm talking about this. This was the parabola. So if x coordinate is minus b upon 2a, here I can say y coordinate will be minus d upon 4a. So that is going to be the minimum value. Alright. And in this case, if you ask, ma'am, what is the maximum value? So since parabola is going upwards, so in this case, beta, maximum value of y will approach to plus infinity. Alright. So this is the case 1 when a is positive. Let us move on to case 2 when a is negative. Alright. So let me take case 2. I take case 2 when a is negative. If a is negative, parabola will be opening downwards. And moreover, look here, if a is negative, 2a will also be negative. And what was 2a? Second derivative. This implies d2y by dx square is negative. And you know, if first derivative is 0 at a point and second derivative is negative, then it is point of local maxima. So this implies x is equal to minus b upon 2a is point of local maxima. Alright. So this is point of local maxima. Alright. Yeah. Now let us see. What about the graph? In this case, since a is negative, parabola will be opening downwards. Okay. So we will have this downward parabola. And this will be the maximum value, the vertex, because no part of parabola will be above that. So x coordinate will be minus b upon 2a. And just as in the previous case we have obtained, look here, what have we obtained? That if x is taking value minus b upon 2a, then y is taking value minus d upon 4a. The only difference being, if a was positive, then this was the minimum value. Okay. Now, if a is negative, this is going to be the maximum value. So again, we can put the value of a. So I will get here y maximum in the similar way will be equal to minus d upon 4a. So that means if this vertex is the point of maxima, x coordinate is minus b by 2a, y coordinate is minus d upon 4a. Got it? And here, since parabola is going downwards, so that means in this case minimum value of y will approach to minus infinity. Is it all right? So that is how we obtain maximum and minimum value of a quadratic expression. And you have to memorize this, that if a is positive, all right, then point at which minimum value will occur is minus b upon 2a, and y minimum will be this minus d upon 4a. Is it okay? And if a is negative, as you can see here, if a is negative, then in that case maximum value will be minus d upon 4a, because parabola will be opening downwards. Let us look at a few questions based on this concept. Alright, look at the first question on your screen. What does it say? Let us read it. Question says that the greatest value we have to find of this expression, 1 upon 4x square plus 2x plus 1. Okay, let's see how to find its greatest means maximum value. Now this expression we may denote it by fx. So we are going to first of all write the solution. Alright, now let me denote this function by fx. Alright, so suppose fx is equal to 1 upon 4x square plus 2x plus 1. Is it okay? Now look here. In this case, the quadratic expression is not in the numerator. It is in the denominator, as you can see, isn't it? And also observe one thing, that numerator is constant. So if I want that fx should be greatest, I want this to be greatest, so that means denominator should be minimum. Alright, because numerator is constant. Whenever numerator is constant, then the whole rational expression will have greatest value if denominator is minimum. You know, it's as simple as that. Suppose you have one cake. Numerator is 1, you have one cake. Suppose it's your birthday. You want to have maximum piece, then you invite minimum number of people. So when you divide a cake in minimum number of people, you will get the largest piece. So that means denominator here should be minimum. Let me denote it by y. So let us say, let y be equal to 4x square plus 2x plus 1. Is it okay? Now I want it to be minimum. Now look here. Let's revise what we have done just now. We can see that coefficient of x square is 4, which is positive. That means this is going to represent a parabola which is opening which side? Upwards. So this will represent a parabola opening upwards. So what was the minimum value? Minimum value of y was minus d upon 4a. So let me use it over here, direct result. So y minimum is minus d upon 4a. What was d? Minus b square minus 4ac. Alright, minus of this divided by 4a. Now let us put the values. Minus of coefficient of x, b is 2. So I have 4. Minus 4 into a is 4 into c is 1, as you can see in the quadratic expression, and divided by 4 into 4. So what are we getting? Minus of, I have minus of here 4 minus 16 and divided by 16. So what is it? Let's see. On solving, we are getting to be equal to 12 by 16, which is equal to 3 by 4. Alright. So this is the minimum value of y. Now what do we want? We want, look here, we want greatest value of fx. This is the fx. So this whole is fx and we want its greatest value. So as I said, it will be greatest when denominator is minimum. And what is the minimum value? 3 by 4. So let us put that. So now we can say that greatest value will be equal to, let me write. So here, greatest value of fx will be equal to 1 upon minimum y, right? So it is equal to 1 upon 3 by 4. So that means it is going to be equal to 4 by 3. So this is our answer. Okay. So this is the greatest value of the given function. Let's check the option. So you can see we have here A option to be correct. Is it okay? So that's the greatest value of this given expression, and it is obtained when here this denominator will be minimum. Got it? Let's see one more question based on that. Now look at the next question on your screen. Let's read the question first very carefully. We are given that if minimum value of fx equal to x square plus 2bx plus 2c square is greater, then the maximum value of gx, which is What is the function gx? Minus x square minus 2cx plus b square, where x is real. Then you can see in the options we have to tell relation between the two constants involved, that is b and c. Alright, let's see how to do it. Now let me take first of all the write the solution here. So first of all we are going to take fx. So what is fx? We have the first function fx to be x square plus 2bx plus 2c square. Now you can see this part is quadratic expression, and also observe that coefficient of x square is positive. That means it is going to represent upward parabola. So we can obtain its minimum value. What will be minimum value? Minus d upon 4a, as we have done. So let us write minimum fx. So minimum fx is going to be minus d upon 4a. So d निकालते हैं. Alright. So minus. Now this is the as you can see quadratic expression. So it will be 4b square minus 4 2s are 8c square and divided by 4 into 1. Is it okay? A is 1, that is coefficient of x square. If you divide by 4, what are we getting? Minimum fx is equal to minus b square plus 2c square. So this is the value of minimum fx. Okay, so I have got this. That minimum fx is this, minus b square plus 2c square. Now in the question they are talking about gx. Okay, fx we have seen. Now they are talking about, as you can see, this gx. Let me take this gx now. So what is this function gx equal to? I have now gx to be equal to minus x square minus 2cx and plus b square. This is the function. Now look at this. Okay, let's concentrate on this now, gx. As you can see that again it is a quadratic function, and coefficient of x square now is negative. You know that if coefficient of x square is negative, it will represent a parabola opening downwards. So this is representing downward parabola, and in this case we can obtain its maximum value, which is again minus d upon 4a. So maximum gx will be equal to minus d upon 4a. Now in this quadratic expression, let us write d. So I have minus of minus 2c whole square will be how much? 4c square. Then minus 4ac, 4 into minus 1 into b square. Got it? And divided by a is minus 1. So I have 4 into minus 1. Alright. Now let us proceed further. How much is this? You can take this as minus 4c square minus minus plus 4b square upon minus 4. 4 can be taken common, even minus will get cancelled. So this implies maximum gx is equal to c square plus b square. Is it okay? This is the value of maximum gx. Now what are they saying? They are saying in the question, let us see the question again. Let's see. Question is, now look carefully. Question is that minimum value of fx is greater than maximum value of gx. Now how is it possible that minimum value is greater than maximum value? Let me show you through a graph. Like you can see that fx had coefficient of x square to be positive. So fx was a parabola opening upwards, isn't it? तो fx में जो पैराबोला था बेटा वो कैसे ओपन कर रहा था? अपवर्ड ओपन कर रहा था, और gx का पैराबोला डाउनवर्ड है. नाउ लुक हियर, सपोज दिस इज fx and we have like this, suppose gx. Is it okay? So you can see this is maximum value of minimum value of fx, and this is maximum value of gx. Can you see that this value is greater than this one? So that means minimum fx, you can see, is greater than maximum gx. So it is possible. So this is what we are given. Let's write. So we are given that minimum fx is greater than maximum gx. Right? Now what was minimum fx? Let's see. Minimum fx was this, minus b square plus 2c square. So minus b square plus 2c square is greater than maximum gx is c square plus b square. Got it? Now let us simplify. We can take b square on the other side, alright, and we can bring c square on this side. So I have c square is greater than 2b square. You can also divide by 2. We can write this result as, let's see how we can write. We can write it as c square upon 2 is greater than b square. Now if you take positive square root, what do we get? This implies mod c upon root 2 is greater than mod b. So this is the condition on mod c and mod b. Alright. So let's see which option is going to be correct. Okay. So mod c upon root 2 is greater than mod b. Now you can see that b option is correct, right? Mod c upon root 2 is greater than mod b. So here they have discussed both the cases, maximum value also of a function and minimum also, right? So minimum occurs when you have coefficient of x square positive, and maximum occurs when coefficient of x square is negative. Alright. So this was regarding maximum and minimum value of a quadratic expression. Now let us see what is the next thing that we are going to do. Next I will tell you, like if you have this quadratic function ax square plus bx plus c and we denote it by y equal to this, then it will represent, you know, a parabola either opening upwards or downwards depending a is positive or negative, right? Now this parabola has a relation with x-axis. Okay, what is the relation and how do we connect it to the nature of roots of quadratic equation? Okay, so that's a very interesting part. So let us look at that. Alright. So next would be our topic, that intersection of, next we are going to talk about this intersection of parabola, right? Y is equal to ax square plus bx plus c with x-axis, and we will relate it to the nature of roots also. Alright. So this is the parabola that we have. This is the function that we have. Now first of all, let us see case 1 when parabola intersects x-axis in two distinct points. Okay. So let me take case 1. Case 1 would be that parabola cuts x-axis in two distinct points. Alright. In how many? In two distinct points. That's the first one. So we are going to do first of all this, when parabola is cutting x-axis in two distinct points. Now in this we have to take two cases, a positive and a negative. Alright. So let me take this. So in this case, let's see what happens if a is positive. We have this function y is equal to ax square plus bx plus c. We know that it is going to represent parabola opening upwards. Okay. So let us see now. Let me take a parabola which is opening upwards, and you can see it is intersecting in two distinct points. It is intersecting x-axis in two distinct points. So this is the case we are talking about. Now look carefully, what are these two distinct points where parabola is intersecting x-axis? You know that if you take any point on x-axis, y coordinate is 0, right? So these are the points for which here y is going to be 0. So I will have, if y is 0, you can see it becomes quadratic equation ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0. So roots of this equation are these 2 points where parabola is intersecting x-axis, because these are the corresponding values of x. So what were the values of x? We can denote the roots by alpha, beta. You know they were minus b plus minus under root of d upon 2a. So when do we get two distinct roots? Because parabola is cutting x-axis in two distinct points. That means in this case roots are real and distinct. Alright. So that is how we are relating it to the roots. So when our roots are real and distinct, tell me, when d is positive. So this implies I have discriminant d strictly greater than 0. Alright. So parabola will intersect x-axis in two distinct points only if d is strictly greater than 0. And these roots are alpha and beta. So these are the points. These are the values of x for which y is 0. Alright. Also observe one thing. You can see that before alpha, okay, look at this part of graph, this part. Okay, this part of graph you can see is above x-axis. So when any portion of graph, as you can see this one, is above x-axis, then if you take any point on it, its y coordinate will be positive. And what is this portion? When x is before alpha, can you see? So I write this thing that if x is less than alpha, then you can see y is positive. Y coordinate is positive because graph is above x-axis. Now look at this part of the graph. This is below x-axis, and what are the values taken by x between alpha and beta? So can you see when x is between alpha beta, graph is below x-axis? That means y coordinate will be negative. So let us write this thing that if I have x lying between, if x is lying between alpha and beta, then I have y to be negative. Now observe one thing. What is it? What happens if x is greater than beta? Alright. Now when x is greater than beta, that means we are talking about this part of the graph. You can see it is above x-axis, and what are the values taken by x? Greater than beta. So when x is greater than beta, again part of the graph is above x-axis, so y will be positive. So let me write this now. So I have now here, if x is greater than beta, then y will again be positive. Alright. And if y is equal to 0, when is y 0? When x is alpha beta, as you can see from the graph. These are the points where graphs intersect x-axis. So we can say this thing that when I have x equal to alpha beta, then y will be equal to 0. Got it? And in this case parabola is opening upward, so this will be the vertex, right? Remember what was the x coordinate? Point of minima minus b upon 2. Right? So it will be somewhere here, and corresponding minimum value of y would be this minus d upon 4a, right? So when parabola is intersecting x-axis in two distinct points, the roots will be distinct and real, so d will be greater than 0. Now this was when parabola is opening upward. See, when a was positive. Now let me take what happens when a is negative. Let us see that case now. When a is negative, if a is negative, parabola will be opening downwards. So let me take parabola opening downwards. Alright. Just a moment. So now we take parabola opening downwards, and parabola is intersecting x-axis in two distinct points. So these are the two distinct points. Alright. One is this alpha, other is this beta. These are the two distinct points. Again you can see these are the roots, as I have told you in case 1 when a is positive. So we can say again roots are real and distinct. So d will be strictly greater than 0. Alright, here also. Now observe one thing. When I have this part of the graph, okay, graph is below x-axis. What is this portion? When are we getting these values of y? When x is less than alpha. So when x is less than alpha, you can see y is negative. So let us write that if I have x to be less than alpha, then y is negative, because part of the graph is below x-axis. Now look this part. Look at this part of the graph. It is above x-axis, isn't it? Now what are the values that x is taking for these points? Between alpha beta. So when x is between alpha beta, y will be positive because graph is above x-axis. So let's write, if alpha is less than x is less than beta, then y is positive. Now see the third one, this part of the graph. Okay, now look at this part of the graph. This is below x-axis. Now what are the values taken by x after beta? So x is greater than beta, part is below, graph is below x-axis, so y is negative. So we can say if x is greater than beta, then again y is negative. And you can see very clearly, if x is alpha or beta, then y is 0. So these are the roots. So we can say if x is equal to alpha or beta, in that case y will be equal to 0. Also observe, in this case this is the point of maxima, the vertex. So this is going to be minus b upon 2a. Alright, and corresponding maximum value of y here is minus d upon 4a. Got it? So this is case 1, when parabola is cutting x-axis into distinct points. You can see we are discussing this, that parabola was cutting x-axis into distinct points. Now let us take case 2, when parabola is touching x-axis at one point only. Alright, so let me take case 2 now. So case 2 would be parabola cuts x-axis, या touches भी कह सकते हैं, that's a better word. Okay, parabola touches, we usually use the word touches when it is one point. So parabola touches x-axis at one point only. Let's see this case now. All right, now in this case again, you know the expression was y is equal to ax square plus bx plus c. So let me take the first case when a is positive. Okay, so let us see what happens when a is positive. So parabola is going to open upwards. So let us draw the graph over here. Okay, so parabola will be opening upwards. So let me draw the parabola. So it would be like this. Okay, so I have this parabola opening upwards. You can see it is touching x-axis at one point only. Now in this case, that means, you know, again this point where parabola is touching x-axis, at here y will be 0. So if y is 0 here, then you get quadratic equation ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0. Now there is only one root, one real root. So that means in this case roots are real and equal. Got it? Because only one point is there where parabola is touching x-axis. So roots are real and equal. And when are roots real and equal? When discriminant is 0. So when discriminant is 0, that will be the case when parabola is touching x-axis. Alright, and this point will be what? Also, you know, point of minima. So what will be the coordinates? X coordinate will be minus b upon 2a, and since d is 0, remember minimum y was minus d upon 4a. So d is 0, so obviously in this case minimum value will be 0. So we can observe one thing more, that when x is equal to, you can also say this is the root. Remember what were the roots? See, alpha and beta were minus b plus minus under root of d upon 2a. Remember? Now look here, this d is 0. So that means what are the roots here? So we will have both roots equal minus b upon 2a. So this is nothing but the root. Okay, this is root alpha. So we can say when x is equal to alpha, then obviously y is 0. And for all other values of x, look here, either we take these values below, before alpha or after alpha. You can see the graph is above x-axis, so y coordinate is positive. So we can say very clearly here that if x is not equal to alpha, alright, if x is not equal to alpha, then y will be greater than 0. Because graph, as you can see, graph is completely above x-axis. At one point only y is taking value 0, where the parabola is touching x-axis, right? Now let me take when a is negative. This was when a is positive. Now let us see what happens if a is negative. Again we see the graph of ax square plus bx plus c, and we are doing the case when it is touching x-axis at one point only. So you know that in this case parabola will be opening downwards. Okay, we'll have parabola opening downward. So let me draw that. So let us take a downward parabola like this. All right, so this is opening downwards like this. Sorry, in this case I have to take touching x-axis at one point, so I have to draw it like this. It is supposed to be touching at one point only. So let this be the point. Okay, because we are doing case 2 when parabola touches x-axis at one point. Now what will be this point again? Alpha comma 0, the roots, that is minus b upon 2a comma 0. And again since roots are real and equal, so in this case also beta d will be equal to 0. So whenever discriminant is 0, parabola touches x-axis at one point. Also you can see when x is equal to alpha, you can see y is 0, this point. Got it? And for all other values of x, look here, if we take values of x less than alpha or greater than beta over here, greater than alpha, then this is the part of the graph. So all that part is below x-axis. So for all those points which are not equal to alpha, y will have value negative. So let's write this. If x is not equal to alpha, then I have y to be negative. Alright, so this is the result. So that's case 2 now. Okay, so what is case 2 that we have done? Case 2 is this, that parabola touches x-axis at one point only. It will happen when discriminant is 0. Now let's move on to the last case, that is case 3. Case 3 will be when parabola does not touch or intersect x-axis at any point. Okay, so let's write case 3. So case 3 would be parabola does not touch or cut x-axis at any point. किसी भी पॉइंट पे पैराबोला x-axis को बेटा टच या कट नहीं करेगा. Again let me take case 1 when a is positive, and this was the function y is equal to ax square plus bx plus c. You know that parabola will open upwards. Let's draw the graph now. Okay, so I will have parabola opening upwards. Now parabola would be somewhat like this. इस तरह से होगा. ठीक है, अब देखो एक भी पॉइंट पे पैराबोला इसको टच या कट नहीं कर रहा, तो इसका मतलब कोई ऐसा पॉइंट नहीं है बेटा जहां पे y 0 है. There is no real value of x. See, there is no real value of x for which y is 0. What does this mean? That this equation has no real roots, because for real roots graph has to touch or cut x-axis, only then we'll have a real value of x for which y is 0. Right? So no real roots कब होते हैं? जब d is negative. So in this case d would be less than 0. Also observe one thing, whatever x may be, graph is completely above x-axis. So we can say that y is greater than 0 for all x belonging to real numbers. Alright. Now this thing I am going to write as a note also, okay, in two different ways, but let me first of all do its second case also when a is negative, okay, because case 3 is the most important one. You get maximum questions on case 3, and you will observe in calculus when you do application of derivatives especially, or when you do functions, we require this case 3 a lot of times. Ki when is a quadratic expression always positive, when it is always negative, okay. But as I said, let's first of all do case 2 when a is negative. So when a is negative, you know that parabola will be opening downwards. Alright, so let us take that. So let us draw the parabola. Suppose I have this, you can see it is not touching or cutting x-axis at any point. Again we do not have any real roots, so here again I will have d to be less than 0. So discriminant will be negative. And also observe one thing, whatever x you may take, graph is below x-axis, so for every real value of x, y is negative. So I can say that y is less than 0 for all x belonging to R. Now as I said, this case 3 we are going to write in two different ways, so that whenever we get a question we know that what is to be applied. So in the note, let me take the first point. Okay, first point would be that the quadratic expression, okay, first का a part लिखते हैं यहाँ पे, a part would be the quadratic expression ax square plus bx plus c is greater than 0 for all x belonging to R if. Now what are the conditions for this to be always positive? First would be that a should be positive, and second would be that d is negative. See, it is this case. Let me show you. यही वाला केस है ना, ये देखो y is always positive, y यही तो है ax square plus bx plus c. तो for all x belonging to R, y कब पॉजिटिव था? देखो जब a पॉजिटिव है और d नेगेटिव है. तो यही दो कंडीशंस हुई which we have written. Now let us write its b part. All right. Now let me write the b part over here. So b part would be that the quadratic expression ax square plus bx plus c will be less than 0 for all x belonging to R when, if you have two conditions, that a is negative and secondly d is also negative. Now this is case 2c. Y means quadratic expression, so y is always negative for all x belonging to R when a is negative, as you can see, and d is also negative, है ना. जब a भी negative है, d भी negative, आप देख रहे हो ग्राफ completely below x axis है, मतलब y is always negative. Now what is the other way we can interpret this result? Let me write it as second result. उसका a part देखो. a part में आप ये लिख सकते हो कि the graph of y is equal to ax square plus bx plus c is strictly above x-axis. The graph is strictly above x-axis when, if again two conditions, a is positive and secondly discriminant will be negative. So what are we saying? Graph is strictly above x-axis. As you can see, it's case 1. See here, look here, graph is strictly above x-axis. When is that? When I have a to be positive and d to be negative. All right. Now the second part of that, it would be b part. B part, we can say that the graph of y equal to ax square plus bx plus c is strictly below x-axis when, if we have two conditions, number one, that a is negative and secondly d is also negative. So what are we saying? That the graph of this function is strictly below x-axis if a is negative and d is negative. Let's see here. See, this is the case when graph is strictly below x-axis. So what are the two conditions? A is negative and d is also negative. So these are the most important 2 points which we have got. Okay, first one was that quadratic expression, okay, is always positive. This quadratic expression is greater than 0 for every x if a is positive and d is negative. Then we said quadratic expression is always negative, that is for every real x when a is negative and d is also negative. And this can be interpreted as that the graph is strictly above x-axis if A is positive, D is negative, and graph is strictly below x-axis if A is negative, D is negative. Alright, you will see yourself using this condition so often in questions. Okay, so never ever forget it. Alright, now let's see some questions based on this. Look at the first question here. Okay, let's read the question first. The number of integral values of m for which the quadratic expression 1 plus 2mx square minus 2 into 1 plus 3m into x plus 4 into 1 plus m is always positive. So what do we have to find? Integral values of m for which this quadratic expression is always positive. So let's write the solution for this. Now look here. Let me denote it by y. So I have this quadratic expression as y equal to 1 plus 2mx square minus 2 into 1 plus 3m into x plus 4 into 1 plus m. Alright, this is it. Now, when is a quadratic expression always positive? Remember the first condition. First condition is that y will be greater than 0. Okay, for all x belonging to R. First condition was that A should be positive, that means coefficient of x square. So first condition is that this should be positive. And what will be the second condition? That its discriminant should be negative. Now let me take the first one. First one is quite simple. It gives you the inequality x is greater than minus 1 by 2. Alright, let us solve the second one. Now we have to find the discriminant now. So let's see what is the discriminant. Discriminant would be b square minus 4ac. So 2 2s are 4. 1 plus 3m whole square. Alright. And then minus 4ac. So minus 4 into 1 plus 2m into 4 into 1 plus m. Now this should be greater than 0. This. Alright. So this is the second, less than 0. So I have this to be less than 0. Right, because the second condition was discriminant should be negative. Now you know inequalities, remember we have done, if you divide by a positive quantity, sign of inequality remains the same. So you can see we can get rid of this 4. It will help us simplify this inequality. So let us divide by 4. Alright, so what is left is, let us open the brackets. I have 1 plus 9m square plus 6m minus 4 times 1 plus m plus 2m plus 2m square is less than 0. Let's simplify. I have 9m square plus 6m plus 1 minus 4 2s are 8m square. Now look here, this would be 3m. So minus 12m minus 4 is less than 0. Let's see what do we get. Let us simplify it now. I have m square minus 6m and minus 3 is less than 0. So this is the second condition. Now we have to solve it. Now remember this is quadratic inequality. We first have to find the roots. Now in this case you know that we find the roots either by splitting the middle term or by using quadratic formula. Here we have coefficients in such a manner that we won't be able to split the middle term. So let us find the roots by quadratic formula. Right. So m would be minus b plus minus under root of b square minus 4ac, that will give you plus 12, and divided by 2. So we are getting 6 plus minus under root of 48 divided by 2. So m would be equal to 6 plus minus 4 root 3 by 2. We can divide by 2. So m is taking values 3 plus minus 2 root 3. Now you know that smaller value will come first on the number line. So I will have 3 minus 2 root 3, right? And then I will have 3 plus 2 root 3. Now in the inequality we have less than 0. See, we have less than 0. So remember what we used to do? We used to write plus minus plus. And because it is strict inequality, we have blank circles. और less than 0 है तो minus वाला region answer होगा. Is it okay? So that means here m is belonging to this interval 3 minus 2 root 3 to 3 plus 2 root 3. Alright. So this is the second condition. Now let us take the common solution, alright, of both the conditions. What was the first one? See here. First one was this one, that m is greater than minus half. You know that minus half is is equal to, this would be equal to minus 0.5, right? Now we have to see the approximate value of these two also. 3 minus 2 root 3 and 3 plus 2 root 3. Now you know that root 3 is 1.7 approximately. So this would be 3 minus 3.4. That means approximately minus 0.4. This would be 3 plus 3.4, approximately 6.4. So let us take the number line. So I will have first of all minus half, isn't it? Then I will have 3 minus 2 root 3. And then I will have 3 plus 2 root 3. Got it? So the first condition was that m is greater than minus half. So let me take this blank circle over here because strict inequality is there. So x is greater than minus half. Then x lies between these two. Right? So what's the common solution? That x is lying here. See? This would be the common solution. So that means x is lying between, this was approximately minus 0.4 as you can see. This is approximately 6.4. Now what is the question? We don't have to find the interval. Let us go back to the question. See, read it carefully. Question was we have to find number of integral values of m. So what are the integral values that m is taking? So let us find all the integers lying in this interval. So in this interval, what are all the integers? From minus 0.4 to 6.4. So m is taking values 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So these are the integral values of m lying between them. How many are these? These are 7 values. Alright. So that is going to be the answer. So we had to tell number of integral values of m. So these are 7 values. That means C option will be correct. Got it? So what was the question? That when is this quadratic expression always positive? So when it is always positive, when you have coefficient positive of x square and discriminant is negative. So two inequalities, common solution, and in the interval we obtained integral values. Got it? Now let me take up the next question. Now look at this next question on your screen. What does it say? Let's read it carefully. If the roots of equation bx square plus cx plus a is imaginary, roots are imaginary, that means complex roots, non-real, then for all values of x you have to tell this expression is what? Greater than 4ab, less than 4ab, greater than minus 4ab or less than minus 4ab. So we are going to do the solution for this one, right? Now let us see. First of all, let us take the first equation, this one, and use that roots are imaginary. Alright. So the equation is bx square plus cx plus a equal to 0. Now since we have roots imaginary, you know that when does a quadratic equation have imaginary roots? When discriminant is less than 0. So its discriminant will be less than 0. What is it? Let's see. C square minus 4ba, this is less than 0. What does this imply? This implies that c square is less than 4ab. So I have this condition, let me call it as 1, which I am going to use in solving the later part of the question. Now what is it? Now they are talking about this quadratic expression. उसके बारे में बताना है बेटा कि क्या कह सकते हैं. Let me denote this second quadratic expression by y. Alright. So let me write, let y be equal to 3b square x square plus 6bcx and plus 2c square. Now observe one thing. It is a quadratic expression, isn't it? It is a quadratic expression. And observe one more thing. Coefficient of x square is positive. Leading coefficient is never 0, alright, and it is perfect square, so that means coefficient of x square is greater than 0. That means it will represent parabola opening upwards. It will give me upward parabola. So that means upward parabola is there, so I can obtain minimum value of y. Remember, we have done. So what is minimum value of y? Point is minus b upon 2a, remember, and value was minus d upon 4a. So let me write here minimum value of y. ठीक है, y की minimum value क्या हो जाएगी? Minus d upon 4a. Let us find the discriminant now. Discriminant is b square minus 4ac. So here I have 36b square c square minus 4 3s are 12, 12 2s are 24 b square c square, and divided by 4 into a, which is 3b square. So let me see what is y minimum here. So y minimum is coming out to be minus 12 times b square c square and divided by 12b square. So that means minimum value of y is minus c square, because 12b square will get cancelled. Now what do we mean when we say this is the minimum value of y? See, we are denoting this quadratic expression by y. See, this is denoted by y. तो minimum value का मतलब क्या है कि y उससे बड़ा होगा ना या उसके इक्वल होगा. ठीक है, ये देखो ग्राफ में, जैसे ये ग्राफ है तो y की मिनिमम वैल्यू मीन्स आइदर y विल बी इक्वल टू माइनस d अपॉन 4a और ग्रेटर देन दैट. So that means I have here, this means that y is greater than or equal to minus c square. अब ऑप्शन में आप देखो, आपको बताना है ये क्वाड्रेटिक एक्सप्रेशन मतलब y ए बी की टर्म्स में बताना है कि वेदर इट इज ग्रेटर देन 4ab, लेस देन 4ab, ग्रेटर देन माइनस 4ab, माइनस 4ab. Now this is going to help us. We have this condition that c square is strictly less than 4ab. Let us use it over here. So what do I have? I have c square is strictly less than 4ab. See, I have this condition. Now here I am talking about minus c square. यहाँ पे देखो, we are talking about minus c square. So let me multiply this inequality by minus 1. All of you know if you multiply any inequality by minus 1, sign of inequality reverses. So I have minus c square greater than minus 4ab. So let me use it over here. So I have this strictly greater than minus 4ab. Right? So what do I get? That y will be greater than minus 4ab. So this is the condition that I am getting, that y will be strictly greater than minus 4ab. So let's check the option now. Alright. So greater than minus 4ab, that means C option will be correct here. Alright. So y is strictly greater than minus 4ab, as you can see. So C option is correct. So again we have used that what is the minimum value of y. Alright. And when are the roots imaginary? When discriminant is less than 0. So these two things we are using. Now let us recall what we have done today. Is it alright? First of all, we did maximum and minimum value of a quadratic expression. Right, in which we said that if a is positive, then we can get minimum value of y as minus d upon 4a. If a is positive, then if a is negative, parabola opens downwards. That gives you maximum value of y minus d upon 4a. Then in the next section, what we did, the cases when does a parabola intersect x-axis in two distinct points. So it will intersect in two distinct points if it has distinct and real roots. That means discriminant is strictly greater than 0. Then secondly, when will the parabola y is equal to ax square plus bx plus c touch x-axis at one point only? Touching at one point means there is only one real root. That means roots are real and equal. So discriminant will be equal to 0. Alright. And when does a parabola does not cut or touch x-axis at any point? In that case, we had done that it will happen when d is less than 0. Alright, no real roots. And these two important points in the note we have done, that a quadratic expression is always positive if a is positive, d is negative. Expression is always negative, as you can see here, if a is negative and d is also negative. Graph is strictly above x-axis if a is positive, d is negative. And graph is strictly below x-axis if I have a negative, d negative. Now look at this question. Okay, this one. Now here we can apply that condition which we have seen just now. What is it? Let us read the question now. Question is, if the graph of the function y is equal to 16x square plus 8 into a plus 5x minus 7a minus 5 is strictly above x-axis, then a must satisfy which inequality? Okay, so let us write the solution for this. Now the condition is that graph is strictly above x-axis. So when will that happen? When a is positive and d is negative. So we have y equal to 16x square plus 8 times a plus 5 into x minus 7a minus 5. Got it? So graph is, we are given that graph is strictly above x-axis. Got it? So when is the graph strictly above x-axis? If parabola opens upwards, that means first condition is that a is positive. Now let me take capital A because small a they are already using in the question, or we can say that coefficient of x square is positive. Now what is the coefficient of x square? 16. It is positive, so that means this condition is satisfied. 16 is greater than 0, so that means this condition is true. So that means now you can see parabola here is not intersecting x-axis at any point. That means no real roots. So the second condition was d is negative. So let me write the second condition now. So second condition is that d should be strictly less than 0. Now let us find the discriminant of this quadratic expression. What is it? Let's see. We have b square means 8 8s are 64, a plus 5 whole square minus 4ac. So 16 4s are 64 into minus 7a minus 5 is less than 0. Now let us simplify this inequality. You know how to solve it. You can see that we can divide by 64 because we can see that 64 is common here, as you can see, right? So it will help us simplify it. So positive quantity से divide कर रहे हैं, sign of inequality same रहने वाला है. And let's open the brackets now. I have a square plus 10a plus 25 then plus 7a plus 5 is less than 0. So I am getting a square plus 17a plus 30 less than 0. Let us split the middle term here. So I have a square plus 15a plus 2a and plus 30 to be negative. First two terms, what is common? A. We have a plus 15, then 2 common, again a plus 15 is less than 0. So I have first factor as a plus 15, second a plus 2, this is negative. Now we know how to solve this quadratic inequality. What are the roots? Minus 15 and minus 2. So on the number line you are going to have the smaller root first, which is minus 15, and then minus 2. Got it? We have strict inequality, so we are going to have blank circles, and since we have strictly less than 0, so we are going to take this minus wala region. So that means a lies from minus 15 to minus 2. Okay, or you can also write in interval form that a belongs to open interval minus 15 to minus 2. So this is going to be the solution for this, right? So you can see we were given that graph is strictly above x-axis. So this will happen if a is positive, coefficient of x square is positive, and discriminant is negative. Let's see the solution, option. So you can see a option is correct, right? So a is lying from minus 15 to minus 2. Alright. So I hope you understood this part. Now in the next lecture we are going to continue with this graphical representation of this quadratic function ax square plus bx plus c. Okay. That is all in this lecture. Hope you will enjoy beta the benefit of our courses. Thank you and bye bye. Thank you beta.